Hello, Auntie Sherry. Here's a song. Hey, Carrie. And never changes. He is still the finest man alive. I wonder why he never got sexiest man alive. Mr. Bon Jovi. Why didn't you ever get sexiest man alive? Maybe he did. I should Google it sometime. Auntie Sherry's got things going on at home. Well, thank you for letting me know that. Hello, Carrie. All right. So I'm kind of being nosy. I'm kind of confused. Remain calm, confused. Go figure. Who would have thought it figures? Mr. A, my Moroccan sniper. All right, first I'm going to play this. Okay, this is Cursed with Curiosity. Her link is in the description. Okay, so this kind of confused me. I'm not sure who even this is. Okay, but they are talking to Cursed.
Every tale is woven into one story.
So before we get started, I'd like to respond to Curse with Curiosity. First of all, I've seen, and I'm not subscribed to your channel anymore because, well, for obvious reasons, right? You put my name in the title a couple months ago and you never got to the point. You scheduled a bunch of lives since then, never got to the point. I guess you're still looking for your balls.
I thought Jody said you to find your balls. I thought Jody was the one. That's 6 up. Okay, I don't know. I mean, and I don't say that to be mean. I am not trying to be a bitch. I am not. I don't know who I don't know their voices. I don't know who a lot of these people are. I don't. But I thought Jody told her to find her balls. I'm confused.
But I'm gonna tell you something. You can quit going around and going in chats and talking about how reaction or review channel shouldn't be doing this or that. Bitch, I'm not in your box.
Don't go in the box. Nobody needs to be going in anybody's boxes on social media, okay? Stay out of the box. What's in the box? Okay.
Live inside of a box. I live outside in the real world, and I do what the fuck I want. Did you read?
That's right, girl. You do what the fuck you want. That's my kind of girl. I don't care who you are. Do what the fuck you want.
The description of my channel? And that's probably the only attention you're going to get. I hope you know that.
Oh, okay. All right. I had to listen to that because I'm like, that's not Jody. Well, they're just wanting you to find your balls all over the place, Cursed. Okay, so we are going to go over a live that Cursed with Curiosity did. I was her guest. I guess I was her guest. And so I kind of got confused. I got lost in translation because, you know, I'm like, what were we really talking about here? Thank you, Bomber Cat. If y'all want, you can go sub up to 6 up, okay? I am absolutely good with that. Y'all are grown adults. You go watch whoever you want. See, I'm confused and nosy. And I ask a lot of questions, especially when I'm confused. So, what the fuck is really going on here? I mean, seriously. I'm confused. Maybe going back over this live, and like I said, the link is in the description. Yes, you will all hear me talking. The mouse, good to see you, lady. We do not show any hate over here. We just have hugs and love for everyone. For the gossip. I've heard, look, I am not going to lie. I have been over to that channel before. Ask a couple questions. You know, to each their own. They are losing their marbles. They're being extra. Why is everybody being so extra? Now, All right. I have to give my opinion on this because I'm confused. I'm confused. All right, here we go. Are you ready? Hold on to your hats.
A lot of clip channels left, you know, that are clipping. And
I love clippies. I love clip channels. Actually, I was watching SDA put out a little clippy clip. It was pretty funny. It was weird though. Had something to do with somebody sending nudie pics to somebody. I'm like, what is up with that? Right? Oh, thank you, the mouse. That's so sweet. Thank you so much. Thank you for always being so supportive. I appreciate you. I do. I mean, what is up with the nudie pics? Why do people do that? I don't understand it. I mean, hey, I should have showed my tatas yesterday. I had some cleavage. I was worried about it when I went into the doctor's office. I was like, damn, girl, you got some cleavage going on. You better watch it, right? That doesn't happen very often. May. There's our May. Okay, now you all know I'm very honest. H. Davis, what are you doing? What are you doing today, mister? Inquiring minds want to know. I'm very honest about things, and I have to be honest. I was so in tune with what was being said in the chat that I missed a lot of what Kirst was saying. I'm sorry, Kirst. It's true. I'm not going to lie about it. Okay, here we go.
and because I don't know, I think that certain people have creators that they've stuck with, and that's what they do. You know,
Well, of course.
not everybody listens to me. Not everybody listens to
Girl, nobody listens to me, period. Y'all quit crying about people not listening to you. Okay? I'm the one that can cry about it. So y'all stop it.
you or
Right.
whoever. So I think they miss a lot. And
Well, I think, and this is just my opinion, but I think a lot of what's coming out, we got to remember, it'll be 5 years since Summer went missing, and they're amping up, for what's to come. And if some of this stuff is just a little piece of what they're thinking or what they're going to create, I think it's sad. I think it's really sad. It's going to be a hell of a ride. Just outrageous.
I agree. Who's in here with us? We got Discovering. I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing?
Yes. Out there, because I found it very disturbing that a conversation was being had that basically, well, not even basically, they accused you of stealing evidence.
He did.
Yes, this evidence shit. Let me tell you guys my honest opinion on that. Okay? You cannot steal evidence. If someone is showing you their evidence, alleged evidence, how the fuck do you steal that? Now, let me say this. Hey, Exploited, Remain Calm thinks things differently than some people, okay? Now, I had a question. After a recording was taken, was there still conversations between you two people, right? So, when was the evidence fucking stolen? Right? Was that after you were recorded somebody? That's a question. Yeah, that is an important question. Because Remain Calm's nosy, right? I want to know why I got a phone call. Oh my God, I was recorded. Talking about the gas station lady. Why the fuck am I getting a Whoopla phone call about it if y'all are still fucking having conversation after it? I'm sorry, it don't make no sense. But if sense was common, we would all have it. I'm just saying, for real.
Well, I guess there's two of them, because apparently someone had told him, and that's where all this mess started. It didn't start in my comment section, but this whole stolen evidence thing, the conversation started in my comments, and so probably a lot of people didn't see that either. Excuse me for a second.
Well, I'm just going to say what I feel here, okay? Because I always do. I don't sugarcoat
what I
that.
feel.
Right.
And because I kind of know from experience, a certain individual was contacting creators behind the scenes,
Yes.
in my opinion, trying to push certain narratives.
Yes,
What I felt was if you were having a conversation with that person and they were showing you that stuff
that's
or
right.
had it set up in the background, there was a reason for that.
Yes, because people don't understand that. Come on, y'all. They're being extra. Extra. Read all about it, right? 4 and 13 when summer got gone, they're still trying to get their heads around the fact with no news. You know, May, I've always said this, but it's just me, okay? My granddaughter is 13 now, and I've never set her down and had a conversation with her about a child that went missing, that just disappeared off the face of the earth. And, you know, what her mommy and daddy was like and different things like that. But that's just me. My granddaughter, she has a heart of gold. And I just know that if I said those things to her, it would weigh on her so heavy. And I just couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. But I do know a lot of people that did talk to their grandkids and younger children about it and stuff, right? Yes, it's a recording. Yes, Carrie, it is I was live with Kirst. Kirst was nice enough to have me over. I do appreciate that, Kirst. Oh, you was writing Summer's name all over the beaches. That sounds really cool. I know one person I would love to hang out with and walk along the beach and, you know, collect little shells and stuff, and that's Sarah. That is Sarah. For real.
There
And
was a
you
reason
too,
for it.
May.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
That's the
I
end.
I have a file, that's what you want to call it, a playlist of a lot of shit, and I think so. I made some clips.
I want to know why everybody's got top secret file shit, right? And everybody has went to Tennessee, hung out with the locals, talked to different people, and to each their own, right? Whatever they felt when they went there, hey, that's their feelings, right? A lot of people went there because they felt they could be closer to Summer somehow. They wanted to see the environment. They wanted to see what was going on. Do I find anything wrong with that? I truly don't. I really don't. There are, look, they all have their secrets, right? Not for YouTube. If I had $1 every flipping time that someone told me something and I'm like, well, why am I not hearing it on YouTube? Oh, it's not for YouTube, right? Well, then don't fucking tell me about it. What do you want me to do with that information, right? What? Don't tell me shit. I mean, you can tell me whatever you want. I'm not going to come out and say some things, you know, with a stone on seawall. Ooh, I bet that was beautiful. That is so beautiful, May. For sure.
I just put them out there. I didn't add anything to them other than Ryan's because these people strike you. Not everybody.
This is the thing about Ryan. Ryan was just repeating what he was told about the stealing of the evidence, right? We know who you were accused of stealing the evidence from. But Ryan, you know, he was just feeling good about himself, Poppy, and decided that, you know, I don't do drama over here, but go ahead and let me do some drama over here for a minute, right? I'm like, dude, you're the most dramatic dude. Well, no, there's a lot of others that are more dramatic than you, I must say. I work for the Secret Service. I do too, May May. I do too. I do. I work for Homeland Security too. Yes, I'm a law enforcement official. I have Google certificates in everything. Everything. Hey, Amy's, how are you?
Creators push to strike people for their content, and then other people, they have no issue whatsoever playing it.
Hey, you got to be nice to them. Okay? I like cursed. Sassy Ann, you don't have to come in here and tell me what a good person she is, Sassy Ann. Okay? People don't need to come in here and tell me they don't like her. All right? For real. Cursed. Sassy Ann says you are beautiful. You're beautiful, girl. Well, really, she said you're a good person. I say you're beautiful. I think y'all have your own type of beauty, right? You all call me ugly. I know you do. I know what y'all say about me behind my back. Freaking goobers, scallywags.
This whole YouTube, it's been a game since day one. People covering, not everybody, there are good intentions, and people, they just say what they think about the case, but there are channels who have made a total disaster of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, I think kind of all of us in some way, shape, or form has caused some kind of disaster. I'm just saying, right? Sassy Ann, why are you sorry? Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry for saying somebody's a good person. There's nothing wrong with that. Girl, I'm messing with you. You have been gone a while, Sassy Ann. You know I mess with people. Look, it's no fucking fun to sit here looking at a monitor, reading a chat, listening to a live and commenting on it and not having a little bit of freaking sass when I do it, right? Oh, Amy, you remember when the couple from Indiana took their children to Florida and the sand collapsed? And the little girl passed away. The brother didn't, I don't think. Or vice versa, I don't remember. That was so sad. Oh, before we get more into this, you guys, this was wonderful to hear. And I am sorry that I had not talked about it prior. We got to do this. We got to. That is for Justice for Athena. Justice for Athena. The DP, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely. I was so happy about that. Sorry I hadn't mentioned it prior. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm trying to find.
I think that's why we're still in the mess that we're in as far as the Summer Wells case. I truly believe that.
Yeah,
and look, I'm going to say things on here that are on me, not cursed, okay?
Well, I was going to say the same thing. My opinion is not hers. Hers is not mine. I think we're both totally fine with it. You are free to say whatever you need to say.
We are fine. We are fine. And I do like curse. I do. I really don't know the other people that they're all kind of clashing right now. It's like this crew and that crew and, Yahoo crew, Scallywag crew. There's a crew for everyone, right? Yes, justice for her. Absolutely. I was so happy. I really was. I just was so worried they were going to take a plea on that. And I was like, Jesus, don't let that happen. Now, you got to realize there's going to be appeal after appeal after appeal. And I really hope that, it stays as is, for sure. I have to question
what is actually being done in the name of Summer Wells. I have to question that.
Yeah.
Because a long time ago, years ago, it quit being about Summer. It really did.
It did. And I'll say this a million trillion times over. That baby girl, she got lost over and over and over. And she's still lost.
It quit being about Summer. And I never understood why creators who were following Summer's case, it was like they wanted to annihilate certain creators who talked about Summer.
They did. It did. Everybody, no matter what was being talked about, you know, they would, a lot of small, hey, runs with scissors, a lot of smaller channels. I mean, they were trying to get rid of channels, making people just, you know, disappear, take all their content down. It was horrible. It was horrible. And I hate to see that happen again, because this is what I want to believe in my heart, right? If everybody could kind of, you know, not feed the flames so much with outside stuff, let it calm it down. Calm it down. Don't be so extra, right? Not that everybody could get together and solve what happened to her, but I think it would really, really be very educational for everyone. For everyone.
And you know, absolutely.
So again, I see a comment already from Skibo. She says, yeah, the reason she thought she could trust you, lesson learned, you're not trustworthy, you're deluded. You're going to see a bunch of comments come in, I'm sure.
They're saying that about you.
What? See, I had not even, okay, so they're saying you're deluded. See, and this is the thing. Cursed, I'm just trying to understand all of it, okay? For real.
There, I didn't add anything to them other than Ryan's, because these people strike you. Not everybody. Certain creators push to strike people for their content, and then other people, they have no issue whatsoever playing it.
But when, I don't understand. I'm still kind of confused. Maybe you'll talk about it. I also heard he also wrote to the family with yet another lie after he had been. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did, May May. It was horrible. It was horrible. Yeah. He's very sick individial.
This whole YouTube.
I wanted to act like he was sick.
People covering, not everybody, you know, there are good intentions, and people, they just say what they think about the case, but there are channels who have made a total disaster of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, Kurtz, when did you actually start following Summer's case? You know, I see it's strange to me because I see, you know, creators that obviously are being very supportive of you and coming in your chat, and there's nothing wrong with that. But do you know what some of them did? Right? Would you be all right with what some of them did? I was never good with a you know, person that, I mean, it's done and it's over with. This was years back. But we had a creator that made everyone believe that they had sent quite a sum of money to the reward fund, and it was not true. It wasn't true. That creator's still around and doing just fine, right? Doing just fine. I mean, it was messed up. It was messed up, right?
I'm trying to find
And I think that's why we're still in the mess that we're in as far as the Summer Wells case. I truly believe that.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying, that it isn't that complicated. Because are we overthinking everything, right? Are we overthinking everything? Trisha, how long you been following Summer's case? Let me check something here, because this is how I roll. Hold on. For real. How long? Because let's see when you made your channel. Let's see. February 18, 2024. Well, that picture that you sent me, that is stuff that came out years ago. Right? That stuff that came out a long time ago. So, I just wanted to let you know that. I told you I'd give my opinion on it. That same image came out years ago. Right? But thanks for sending it to me. Well, somebody else found it on maps a long time ago, Trisha. I mean, I'm glad you looked. I always love people who do their own research, right? I really do. That is much appreciated. Thank you for sending it to me, too. Sadly, there are very few creators covering Summer's case who have not done unethical stuff in the pretense of it being important to her case. I agree, Exploited. I agree. But you know what? They have to live with themselves. And if they are fine and dandy with themselves, then why bitch about it, right? I understand people wanting to call people out. I understand that. I understand people who want to show the individual contradictions of people. And let me tell you guys something. I appreciate when people do that. I really do. This is how I've always been. And I don't get people up here that often to talk to me. But I let people talk. I just let people talk. And my thing is, if other people want to find contradictions on what they say, then they can do that. But I'm just hang back, chill out, and let people have a conversation. Right? And look, I'm going to say things on here that are on me, not cursed, okay?
Well, I was going to say the same thing. My opinion is not hers. Hers is not mine. I think we're both totally fine with it. You are free to say whatever you need to say.
I have to question what is actually being done in the name of Summer Wells. I have to question that.
Yeah.
Because a long time ago, years ago, it quit being about Summer. It really did. It quit being about Summer.
Took it back too far,
and
you guys.
I never understood why creators who were following Summer's case, it was like they wanted to annihilate certain creators who talked about Summer. Absolutely.
So again, I see a comment already from Skibo. She says, yeah, the reason she thought she could trust you, lesson learned, you're not trustworthy, you're deluded.
The reason she thought she could trust you, you're deluded, you're not trustworthy. Let me say this. Unless the person that you are speaking with, if you are not recording a conversation, right? And the other person is not recording a conversation, How can anyone say that they know exactly what was said in that conversation? Right? That's like my conversation. If I have to talk about my conversation that I have said it from the beginning. I don't record people. You can either believe what I'm saying or not believe what I'm saying. That's totally on everyone, right? What's that, babe? Oh, okay, hold on. Hold on, sweetie. Hold on, girl. I don't see it in it. Thank you, babe. I don't think it worked. I don't know. I've got to pull my app up. So, as far as with me, I couldn't understand what the fucking game was, right? Why? There's no reason for anybody to. I don't know. I don't know. The shit that I was being called about, now it makes no fucking sense. I'm like, that makes no fucking sense. Somebody just trying to stir the pot, maybe get some people arguing for them, right? Because I didn't say shit to Kirst about putting out the gas station lady recording shit. I ain't saying nothing to her about it. She changed the voice on it. No one would have known who that was if that person didn't want to let everybody know. And this is bad. I've said it before. The only important thing about that gas station is that allegedly law enforcement has what they need to prove she was at the gas station. Because the woman said Candace did not talk to her. She came in, went in the bathroom, was there for a few, and left. Maybe she had the shits. Maybe she had to take a shit. That's bad. I shouldn't have said that. I apologize. Right? And it's okay to be friends with people, but this is just my opinion. It's really not a good idea to, kind of make everyone aware that, you and her are best friends and that she's basically giving you the rundown of every time Don and Candace comes into that gas station and what they may have been saying. That seems that's gossipy shit. You can look at that as gossip, right? Because I'm sorry, in my mind, I'm like, ain't no fucking way Donna Candace is going to walk into a freaking gas station and tell the attendant, hey, let me tell you what happened to my daughter that day, right? I'm sorry, that's just the way I think. Seriously. That's just the way I think. And also, if you go back and listen to Duchess playing her audio of the gas station lady, she mentions the boy could probably say this or that, right? But you have to understand, they were watching YouTube. All of these people were watching YouTube. I'm just saying. They was having YouTube parties. For sure. I don't know Amy's. This is the only freaking thing I ever knew at the gas station. I think if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, I apologize if I am. Benny had Cam and them go, I believe, to the gas station. I think he did. I can't remember. It's in my notes. I'd have to pull it up, but and then but Duchess had talked to the woman first. Then Cam and Allie, I believe, went there, like I said. And then Nana and the teller lady are friends, right? She says that, I mean, she was watching somebody's channel. I don't know who it was. Right? I mean, a lot of them, Marlena, I'm sure Bill Shipley, the other guy that got interviewed, and probably quite a few others, they watched Sissy. I seen that over on Prayer Gardens, right? Right. There ain't nothing wrong with that, Sissy. Got to feed that baby girl. That's right.
You're going to see a bunch of comments come in, I'm sure.
They're saying that about you?
Yeah, that
Oh, come on.
people feel that they need to stand up for Nana. Nana's a grown woman.
Yeah, she is.
What I have on.
Nana, you are a grown woman, and I'm going to say this, and this is just my opinion. I do not understand why all of a sudden, I mean, you were behind the scenes for quite a while. People knew of you, you know, they knew what you did in the community or whatever. And you never, you know, in chats or anything, I never seen you telling things that you were saying you were doing for the community in chat. That was kind of kept under wraps until the Allie passed away, and all that stuff with Allie when Allie passed away, right? All that drama, all that mess, right? Well, maybe you just forget about things, May. Hey, CM. So that's when it was put into Andrew Hill's chat by someone that said that you were doing kind things for Hunter and them. That's how it came public. That is how it came public to start with. I mean, I'm sure it was out there before, but that's the first time I've seen it being said. For sure. And then, I don't know, after this paperwork stuff and you and Candace getting mad at each other, I mean, wow. Things just went a little cray-cray, didn't it? I don't understand. Why? I just don't understand why all of a sudden you had made comments and people's comments and stuff before. I'm just saying it just, to me, something is there, and I haven't quite figured it out yet. Why the distractions and stuff? Why the big distractions? We all just got caught up. This is, and I know that I sound like a bitch when I say this, but there are individuals who for some reason, it's like they're saying, look at me, look at me. I know this, right? And I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. And I could give examples, but I'm not going to do it. I already said what I said about that situation, and I meant what I said. I meant what I said, people.
On over this before, what had happened, how it transpired, but her and Ellie is Fred's sister, have continued to say these things in my comments. I made it perfectly clear what I did. I recorded her.
Right.
Because that's it. The only reason that I recorded her when
Oh, so they're blowing you shit in your comments because you recorded Nana. Was it a, hey, I don't know where you live, but was it a one-party state? I mean, you can record. But the thing about it was, I don't know. I'd have been appreciative that you changed my voice. Because my voice sucks anyway, right? But I don't know. Y'all got, I don't get it. Now, let me ask this. And she's not here, and I'm asking her questions. I don't quite get your, and I don't have to get your relationship with Ziggy now, right? I don't. I'm just being nosy. I don't know. That's a question. This is the thing, Amy's. There are people, this is what I heard. There are individuals that don't want to talk to any of them. They don't. I don't understand. Let me say this. I don't know how all those interviews, if they get more interviews and all them people do is say what they think about Fred, I'm not interested in that. I don't care. What, I mean, but that's just me. I know people care. I know they care. They care deeply for them, right? I would hope, I am hoping that they give us an inch, just an inch, one or two things. Well, I prefer that they don't blast it out, Carrie. I mean, all these people have been looked into. Every name, every RSO, every, manufacturer, substance users, all of those people have been talked to, right? I agree, Mimi. I agree with what you're saying. It's not about Fred. We already, if people ain't seen that and figured that out yet, I feel bad for them. But if they're all watching freaking YouTube, what do you think if someone knew something or physically had something to do with it? What do you think is going to happen if their face shows up on these YouTube channels that they're watching, right? They going to hang around? Hell no, they're going to take off. They are going to take off. Well, creators create. I say that. Creators create. Some of them are, you know, so they're not bad. All those if you pull up, put Summer Wells in the search bar, you will pull up channels that you forgot about. For sure.
We had a Facebook Messenger combo. She called me. We were talking about the spot on Summer's jacket, and she said she had no idea. She knew nothing about it. So the conversation started there, and she proceeded to walk over to her computer and was going through these pictures and videos.
Oh, here
and I
we go.
noticed that on top of these pictures and videos was metadata. So
Right.
I hit record. For me, not for YouTube, not to share. That wasn't, the idea. And I think anybody else probably would have either, whether you admit it or not. If you
Well, this is the thing too. I don't know why that would be a bit. I mean, come on, Nana. Come on. Why would you have that stuff open? You know, for sure. But anywho, the metadata. I got a picture and with metadata on it, and I was asked not to share it. Not the picture, the metadata. But I have to go back to my text to see what the date was on the metadata. And I have not done that yet. For sure. And when I pull it up, I may just share it. Why not? So, okay. I think Curse is talking about the pink jacket that was in the box, right? That pink jacket that was in the memory box.
want truth and it's right in front of your fucking face, people record people. It's no big deal. It's a, what do they call it? One party state, Ryan.
Well, this is the thing.
Oh,
Let me
there
say
you
this, okay? When you put out the recording of her talking about
You've not missed nothing yet, Tiffany.
so you recorded her talking about what the gas station lady had said. You put,
Yeah.
let me say this, you put that out.
Yep.
You
Yep.
changed the voice and everything.
Yes.
I did.
No one
I
would have
just
known
said
that it was
that.
her until she came out and said it was her. I do want to
Right.
put that out there because when you put
Because, see, I couldn't understand either why all of a sudden, I mean, Candace was talking about her favorite fishing spots. And Mama Bear had did a video and put them out there. And you came into her comments and commented and, was like, why are you talking about this? It has nothing to do with Summer. I know that you were saying, why are you talking about my family? But when you said it has nothing to do with Summer and you're talking about a pond, that you have access to, Candace did or whatever, and this phone that people have talked about for years, Dawn's weird ass phone, nobody knows what's on it. And Candace threw it somewhere she was fishing. So I don't know. I Googled how long or if you could save data from a phone that had been thrown in the water. I can't remember what it said. Because I don't think she threw Dawn's phone away. She wouldn't have done that. Hey, Army Vet. She wouldn't have thrown Dawn's phone away. Why would she have done that? She didn't even, she said she never even looked at Dawn's phone. Why would she throw it in the water? Oh, you think Tim knows? I think Tim knows something. are telling.
I think maybe other people that know, which apparently there's a few people that have these videos and pictures. It's not just her. There's a clan of them, because I've
Right.
spoken to a few other people and I've asked them, why can't you?
Candace, why'd you give them all that stuff? Why did you hand over all that stuff? I can't understand that. You think Robin knows Bobby? I thought this is what one of the things I felt was really weird about Robin is that she seemed to have a way with the men, right? She meets Tim Mullins, and all of a sudden she's introducing Tim to Dawn. Now the thing about it is Tim Mullins has they've used their platforms to put pictures out and videos and stuff like that. I went over there to look at something, you know, here or there. So what they have put out isn't bad stuff. It's really good. It is really good. It's just a strange relationship between Robin and Tim and David Dotson and Robin. The David Dotson and Robin, that one really threw me for a loop. But he did take the boys to the putt-putt golf course. So he was trying to be helpful. The thing about it is, if Robin took Summer, then it would either be that it was set up with Dawn and Candace doesn't know, or it was set up with Candace and Dawn doesn't know. And also, if it was Candace and Dawn both, there wouldn't have been a problem with that. Why would there have been a problem with that, right? 3 friends. What 3 friends? Look, I always appreciated people who went to the area that things that they were doing, you knew that it was to, you know, bring out good information, not pushing a certain narrative, you know, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? There is a guy, I don't know if Scott H listens to me. He pops in here every once in a while. Scott, I don't remember the guy's name that I'll have to find it. He has some really, really good videos traveling through the area. It's really good. I've showed it on here before, but I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head. But it's really, really good. Sandman and Bread Lady. That's what I call them, Amy's. Sandman and Bread Lady. Well, didn't Tim say that he met Robin one time at the park with Robin's husband there? Scott Skull. Is it Skull or is it Shule? I don't remember, Mimi. I just know it's good if anybody wants to watch it. For sure.
Like Gavel and Chasing was on Brian's maybe last year before that, and they were talking about the timeline, and they said that they had them, but they'll never put them out, never put them out. So I talked with Gavel and I said, why? What's the big deal, with like the milk jug, so that people don't think that Summer was gone before the 15th. There's a reason for it. And so,
well, we already knew that Summer was not gone before the 15th. Especially if it was true that CPS was there the evening of the 14th. From my understanding, they also have her on video that day. If they go by what Candace had, the TikTok. But I think they also, one of the places they went had her on video. All right. Hey, Sarah. This is from me and Cursed. This is when I went up on Cursed. The link is in the description, ma'am. No, when Jose said that he called Summer Half Pint, that's what my grandpa called me that when I was little. He called me Half Pint because I was so tiny, right? Well, Poppy, Don says CPS was around because he let the boys play with some BB guns. Remember? It was BB guns, he said. So, right? Oh my God. Girl, you changed your name. You changed your name, girl. Congratulations. Used to be Pine Tea. So I thought that was really cool when Jose said that, because that made sense. I don't know who called and reported. Supposedly they were down on the road with him or something. Somebody said they was, not using him in a good way. For sure. Now, I know that, they were saying CPS had been called quite a bit on Candace and Dawn, but we'll never really know because CPS isn't going to release any of those records. The only reason we knew of the CPS was because Dawn said something about it, right? What's up, Army Vat? Pinky. Army Vat. Come on now. Kind of dress your words up. And yes, we know that. Thank you for letting us know. What do you copy and paste? Is that what you do? We talked about that, sir. We talked. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Poppy. That is exactly what I've been saying. I've already said that. Where were you when I said that, sir? I have been saying that for a long time over here. That's been going on. We've talked about that. I mean, we could talk again about, what was it? 24 people that got busted? No, you're fine, Sarah. What was it? 24 individuals got busted? Oh, the names are really interesting too. Of those 24 people. Where do I have that at? I don't know where I have that at. Charge. Yeah, there's Lawson's, there's let's see, that would be in, let me see, I believe I can fly. Okay, wait, I'm not gonna find it in this way. Okay, here's one from April 2026. This is in West Tennessee, though. 19 people were indicted following a 2-year investigation into a West Tennessee substance trafficking scheme involving meth. Here we go. This is in Grundy County. This is in 2022. 24 individuals were arrested in Middle Tennessee following an undercover operation that targeted the sale of meth, hair, and fent. That is it, I believe. I believe this is it. Let me see. No, maybe this one wasn't it. Oh, well, I need the names. I got to see the names and I'll know. No, this isn't it. That's a different one. I'll have to find it. Well, I already said that, Amy's. I mean, if you look at the situation, then, I mean, Dawn was all over the place. I'm sure Candace went to a lot of places too. Right? And we know that Don likes to partake of his favorite substance. He does not lie about that. He's told us that the whole time. But I mean, both of them have showed us really, you know, what they prefer substance wise. Kind of weird, huh? Kind of weird. It's all weird. Well, there's verified. From my understanding, they have video. She was alive that day.
Yeah, they have the Warriors Pond video, has metadata on it. It was
Yeah, but I don't know that law enforcement ever came out and stated that the.
Yeah, but I mean, there's one person that drives me fucking crazy when they talk about metadata. She knows who she is. Drives me nuts.
The milk jug video was even proof of anything that day.
Yeah, I've never heard law enforcement come out and say that that was the last verifiable video of Summer. Right? Then, I mean, Sherry mentioned the picture at 609 with one of the boys in his motorcycle suit, and it looked like Summer standing behind him, right? But then, see, that's strange because I thought at 609-ish was what Jody said was about the time that either Candace came down the driveway, that situation. I mean, for people not keeping track of time, they knew the time. They was on their time.
Sorry.
They never have, right?
The only thing that I know is what Ainsley Daniel has covered. I don't think law enforcement has put out anything other than the milk jug picture, but they didn't verify what time it was. There's not, there's not a timestamp on it.
Oh, that reminds me. I'm going to pull up Leslie Earhart. Okay. When she talks about when Summer was last seen. And we do not know how many people called 911. We do not know that. They have not ever released any 911 calls, only dispatch calls. We know that the dispatch call was like, she's 4 years old, you know. And I'm like, okay. Well, Dawn and Candace couldn't remember when her birthday was anyway. So, I mean, for sure.
But when Candace was interviewing with Unmasked, is that what they were called before they broke up? She told her what time it was, but she didn't verify it.
Well, the thing with the Unmasked video that we need to remember, Candace never came on their panel.
Candace never came on Unmasked panel. If anybody has Candace on Unmasked panel, please let me know. Because what I seen was written questions. They were written down. Candace did not come on that panel. And with Allie and Leslie, I never understood how, Leslie, she just kind of, she was there for sure. So all she knew of Candace was what Allie told her. And I can tell you, if them girls were mad at each other and Leslie and Allie became, pretty good friends, I can guarantee you there was a lot of shit talking going on. I'm just saying.
They wrote her questions and she answered them that way. So she publicly never came out on their panel. It was just them asking her questions, if I remember that correctly.
Yeah.
So also where I heard about the swim hole stuff, beside what Candace had put out, was when David Dotson spoke about it, right?
Yes, and I'm telling you guys, it's weird to me that David Dotson would say, I was standing there when Candace showed that swim hole video with all the kids swimming. He came out later and took that statement back. Right? I thought that was really odd. Really odd.
David Dotson spoke about it, and he said that he was up on the hill. Candace showed it to law enforcement, but it was all the kids swimming.
Yeah, and I think maybe Candace had maybe not been so honest with him at that time.
And
I don't think Candace has been honest any time. Not at that time. Not now. I really don't.
So he came back out and changed that up a little bit. But
He did,
that's what he
yes.
initially said.
Right. Tiffany, you asked what the pictures and videos are of. They're on Gavel's. So Gavel ended up doing a live maybe last week or so. Let me cover something real quick. I haven't done videos.
Oh, so they're on Gabbles? So why is that why they got mad at you? I'm trying to understand. I really don't know. I see, said the blind man. For real. She put them out, but you stole them. Is that what they're saying? How's that fair? I don't know. I don't know. I'm still confused. I am still lost in translation a little bit.
In a very long time. And I know, when I make a post, it might sound dramatic from my part. It's not me being dramatic. It's me trying to throw my 2 cents out there of what's happening. I've got to say,
Girl, you be passionate. Don't ever let anybody take your passion away from you. I'm just saying, for real.
husband. I've had a sick husband since 2021. And the really fucked up thing about that.
Yes, and we're praying for your husband. We have been sending lots of prayers for you, girl.
Six up is that you know that he's sick. So to come out with some random.
Oh, well, I didn't even think about that. I had that happen to me. Girl. Yeah, they came at me freaking hard. Not six up in them. It wasn't none of them. Yeah. I know how that feels.
What you say responding to me, find my fucking balls because I'm not out speaking on this, has nothing to do with finding my balls. I'm not afraid of anybody on here. What is there to be afraid of? That is what I'm talking about when certain creators do content. Like Ziggy. Ziggy's not here no more. You know why? Because of all these people and Six is live. Starting back in way back before November, but November did it for me. I was done. I don't stand by anybody who's going to bully, harass a little girl. And that's what was happening. It wasn't just about Ziggy. There was things said about little Ziggy. And I don't appreciate
Oh, okay. I get it. I mean, if that stuff was going on. But Six Up and Ziggy's got history. I always say that because when some of these creators and just YouTubers have been around each other for a long, long time. And, you know, shit happens. There's shit happening I know nothing about. I can tell you that. For sure. But no, that's been going on. I mean, Six Up ain't the only one that's ever done that. I mean, there's other people who's done that shit too. For sure. I'm just saying.
it. You know, you don't go around telling people that Kay, we'll go with Kay, everybody knows her name, has hepatitis or that she's an alcoholic, so on and so forth. You don't say that shit.
Well, we wouldn't so much say that stuff, but other people do. A lot of people
Yes,
enjoy
I
content like
agree.
that, right?
I agree, remain calm. I agree with you.
The worse you can say about somebody, you know, the better some people like it. I mean, that's sad, but that's just factual. But you know, kind of what got me was the you know, kind of acting like I've had that happen to me before, where because I don't say anything, they think I'm a weak link or something, right? And that's not necessarily true.
I am the weakest link.
I mean, did they want to have a public YouTube fight with you over what?
I don't know. That's why it was random. Like when Ryan said it about the stolen evidence, what's really kind of crazy about this whole situation that I've watched transpired since August when Six Up went to Tennessee and met up with Nana for Life, a lot of things changed. And I think
yeah, but what changed? What changed? They become friends.
I think it's funky. Some things, you know,
Well, they all went to Tennessee and met up with Nana for Life.
a lot of people.
Yeah, Nana, she's a popular lady. They all know her. Okay.
You know, a lot of people think that Fred's guilty. A lot of people think the Wells are guilty. So let me take a drink. As much information that we can get to make our own decisions on what's what.
Well, I think what makes it look so shady too is the people who have talked the most have put themselves in a position where they look shady. Okay.
Yes, that's what I was saying. I just wasn't going to name no name today. Some of these people make their freaking self look shady. It's like they're being extra. Look at me. Let me tell you. It's like, wait a minute. Wait a freaking minute. Slow your rolls. Slow them rolls.
Because they're out here and they're pointing fingers at 20,000 different people. And, but then when you look at them and say, wait a minute, you know, you've been doing some shady stuff too. They don't like that. So then they got to come back and you know, it just kind of becomes a back and forth.
It does.
Well, going back to this whole recording thing, yeah, I did a live on it and I showed the milk jug video with the metadata on top of it. That was a screenshot of what I recorded, but I got permission to show that before I showed it. I asked Candace Wells. So you can't look at that as.
Yeah. She didn't steal something that's not yours, Nana. She asked Candace. Yeah. I don't know why Candace would give her everything. That's crazy. But I guess Candace was kind of flip-flopping around a little bit, right? Stayed with Kathy and kind of went different places. For sure. I mean, I guess that's true. You opened access to it, Nana. You opened that access. Candace said she could show it.
I stole evidence. And whatever this Ellie is trying to say.
And let me tell you what evidence, Candace, are you giving away evidence? Because if someone else thinks it's evidence, do you not think it's evidence? I don't know. You can answer that through one of your friends, okay? Answer it through one of your friends. And they can tag me when they drop the video. How about that? You know what really gets me about people that talk with Candace is because it's nonsensical. Some of the things, it's like, you believe that? You got to be kidding me, right? I'm just saying. That's just the way I feel.
She's insinuating that I'm trying to show other people's research. Is that what you people call your research? Because I know how you got it. You stole it. I didn't steal it. You stole it.
Oh, y'all stealing shit. What is wrong with y'all? Don't say shit about nobody calling Fred a thief. All right? Don't do it. I'm just saying. Thank you, Sarah.
The background of all this bullshit is totally different than what people think. And people are wanting to speak out. And the mass people are on the wrong side of things. That's what I was trying to say before. In the beginning, all this information that kind of formed this case came from Fred and Laura about the times that Chad was in there. Well, that's changed. But I've seen no one carry that through. Unless she lied to me. Ellie sent me a screenshot of her conversation with Miss Chambers. She told me I could use it. I used it. I put it in a video. And what Miss Chambers has said, I can pull it up, is that Chad went by her house after the cops were called, after Candace was up there before the cops were called. So that puts Chad in the holler between 6 and 7, not 4:30.
Well, wait. How are you getting that? Why not 4:30? There was a lot of things going on at 4:30, they said. I think me and Tiffany mentions that 4:30 stuff. There was allegedly a lot going on at 4:30. 4:30 and 5:30. 4:30 and 5:30. A lot going on. And then from, let's see, 4:30, around 4:30, around 5:30, and then around 6:09-ish is when I couldn't find her. I've looked for her for 10 minutes. Who says that? 10 minutes? If she had just wandered off, by the time they got there at 7 o'clock, they would have at least known how far they needed to really look. I don't think messing that time up, not just being truthful on that time period, that hurt Summer. That didn't help her. That hurt her. Now, Candace has said before that, they didn't want her talking about the timeline. Well, who's that, Candace? Your uppers don't want you to.
Is Miss Chambers lying? I would hope not, And then I see Ellie putting in Ryan's chat about Candace being at Zoomers at 5:30, and so was Fred.
And Andy.
Yeah, and then she's putting these fun facts, which is really important to me, these fun facts.
So they're putting it in chat like it's factual? Yeah, that's, there are people that can put things in a chat and people just automatically take it as the gospel, right? Well, Jody wouldn't know anything, Amy's, unless she was at 110 Ben Hill Road. Allegedly, Candace wasn't even home at 3. She didn't get home till what? 3:19? I can't remember the exact time. None of it makes any sense. Right?
in a chat. Let me tell you what, this Summerwell's case is
Hey,
bigger than all of us. There's
Hey,
thousands
Steven.
of people watching. You don't know who's watching, but I feel like some creators just feel like they're talking to the people that they're subs, and I'm putting up quotation marks, they're subs, but you don't realize everybody's listening. So everything said is important.
And that's a great point. Let me point out this, that a lot of these interviews that we're hearing that's come out on, I don't even want to say his name, but anywho, damn it, what was it? I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yes, excuse me. Those people that are being interviewed, you will hear them speak about this person being a true creator, that they know that they're doing things for the right reasons. And now these are people being interviewed, okay?
Mhm.
So in these interviews, they talk about, some of these people being interviewed talk about what channels they've been watching.
Exactly. I've said this the whole time. YouTube became hot. It was a hot ticket in the holler, right? So conversations that they would then have with other people, it would be based around what they heard on YouTube. What they heard on YouTube. If that makes any sense. Don used to do that too. Somebody would say something or question something on a channel, and Don would go up on a panel or something, and that's, it was always putting it out there, trying, I don't know. You guys know what I mean. Don did the same thing.
What channels they have watched since the beginning. So those locals, they were watching YouTube from jump, okay?
Yeah,
They really
and it
were.
makes a difference.
I'm looking for a particular video. I've got, in this particular playlist, I've got 86 clips
Okay, hold
of
on.
bullshit that you didn't. And then someone asked you talked to him? And you said, yeah, I talked to him. And then you turned around a week or so later and said, no, I didn't talk to him, but Glenda talked to him. Ryan, where's your interview with Marvin? All those years of you looking in Laurel Run for a cave. You can't interview Marvin Simpson and clear things up?
Yeah, you would think he was
I wasn't he scared of Marvin Simpson? Wasn't Marvin Simpson the one that when Fred was in jail, he hooked Ryan up with him to show Ryan where the caves were? And Ryan cut ties real quick, right? Didn't trust Fred. I don't know. I didn't pay much attention at all.
There's another one. Both of them said they spoke to Brandon Clark. Brandon Clark is supposedly a part of Fred's timeline. Okay. And both said,
At first, Fred said Brandon Clark was standing out by the mailbox at like 8 o'clock in the morning, didn't he? Am I wrong about that? Right? And I would say, this is the thing, if Pete Clark helped Laura move and Brandon was in the vehicle with her when they got pulled over and ended up going to jail when they were trying to get to the jail to start with, because Fred needed some funds quickly, right? Or something like that. So they all knew each other. All these people knew each other for a long time. Some of them their whole lives.
Brandon said he did not have his bike hauled by Fred that day. Brandon didn't say it online, but both these curators have said, well, Fred didn't haul his bike either. That's what he said. Then you need to have him say that instead of putting that out here as fact. Okay.
I agree.
Fred's truth is his truth. Brandon's truth is his truth. But if you're going to bring it out here that he wasn't a part of June 15th, I think you need to be a little sure about your facts. It's the same thing as 6 and Ryan.
I agree. If some type of information that, well, I guess you could go ahead and timeline. I mean, I don't know.
Bo said that JLR was supposedly recording without permission. He got permission. It's in a very little tiny clip. It's a short. It's there. So that's
Well, believe me, JLR.
Well, I mean, that's kind of, that I didn't find a big freaking deal, right? At all. That about JLR. Let me tell you something, you guys. JLR was driving around the country showing houses. If I remember correctly, I say that a lot, don't I? If I remember correctly, JLR, he went to Candace's uncle Warren's house and showed people where he was living after he got out. Then he goes to Don Wells's son's house. He does. And shows his home where he's staying with, I guess he was married. I don't know. He was living with a woman, had, I believe, a couple children of his own or whatever. And he ended up, if I remember correctly, Don Jr. ended up going back to jail because he didn't register the new address because he is a RSO. And yeah, that's what I remember. I could be remembering that wrong.
I know I'm all over the place, and it's because there's so much. There's just so much.
Well, just
I think it's gonna start playing. Here's JLR's.
Okay, so JLR does a little video showing Brandon giving him attention to recording. And let me say this. If you guys get a chance, go watch that. Go watch that and tell me if you think that there was maybe, little substance taken a little bit before they went on that 20-mile hike. I felt bad for Brandon. His shoes were falling apart. Poor guy. I'm like, damn. Right? Hey, what's up? What is up, Lightning Viper? I haven't seen flies today. I hadn't seen her today. I'm on here early. I don't usually come on here this early.
And it's changed here and there. You know what he's done. He added the dollar store in one time, and but he said he was at the trailer. I don't know why he said that those two guys were supposed to be there that day. I mean, if they weren't there, they weren't there. They weren't there. You know,
right?
They're doing their business. So I don't know what made him think they should have been there. Glenda,
and I don't care what anybody says. Anybody that's followed Fred, where substances are concerned, he has made himself out to be the go-to guy for anything that has to do with substances. Seriously. Manufacturing, he sold to a couple undercovers. He got caught. He, is the person that can, mediate, some, it sounds like extreme situations when you're talking about kids, right? I look at the situation though. There were a couple people that got clean. They got clean. When you got somebody making that shit, shaking and baking it, hell, all they had to do was walk down the road to get it. Or Fred would drive by, you know, like Uber Eats. In my opinion, allegedly, hearsay, however you want to say it.
Interview, I think they said that Pete was in the hospital. Did they prove it? No, there was no receipt shown, and it really doesn't need to be shown. You know,
Well, I think with that, let me say where that kind of grabbed my attention was only because Fred's sister stated that she pulled up and Fred and Pete Clark were removing items from the trailer, I guess, whatever was on the property, right? But I don't know the exact date that she's claiming that happened.
Are you talking about when Laura was moving out?
I guess Laura was moving out and supposedly Pete Clark was helping her.
Okay,
right?
so I think that would probably be right after she got out of jail, which
Right.
was in 23. See, Fred went in June of.
So see, that's what the bad thing was. We had Fred in jail. Laura ended up in jail. From what people have said themselves, as far as substances and all of that, there were people that I wasn't there. I'm not going to say I know factually, but some of these people on their own accord were around 110 Ben Hill Road, if not up on 110 Ben Hill Road, and they were partaking of substances. There were people that were partaking of substances that were going and stating that they were looking for Summer and helping to look for Summer. Right? That's just, it's there. It is there. What does all of that mean? I don't know. I don't know if it means anything. I really don't. So, even Candace, I can't remember if Cam told it or Candace told it about Cam taking some medication up on the hill, and Candace went off on him about doing it. But I don't know. I don't know. No. Fred said he knows nothing about clothes being put in a washer. But yet, if I remember correctly, Fred's the one who told that to start with. Fred also talked about a backpack with, some little cookery in it. But Fred, from my understanding, did not find any human hair. That was Fred's sister when she was searching the property. Cam probably didn't share. It seems that way sometimes, doesn't it? Bless his heart. But why are they saying that stuff? That is a family feud. The family is feuding. You have to take that into consideration.
Of 23, and she went in shortly after. I don't know how long she did. I want to say a month. She had to do a month.
Right.
Give or take a few months from June. It happened. What's your point on that one with Pete Clark? Because I've heard some things about Jamie Cox, Pete Clark. I cannot find it. Fred was talking to another creator and said a lot of things like Jamie Cox was crying because he either knew or heard what had happened to Summer.
How many people did Fred say came to him and showed emotion or talked to him about what happened to Summer? For real. Fred's saying he doesn't know anything about clothes being in any washer. But the hair was found when they were searching the property. For, the psychic woman was involved in that stuff.
And Pete's name was thrown in there too. And just because it's Fred said doesn't mean it's not important. Not everything Fred says is not true.
That's true. That is very true.
And let me say this. Anyone who has passed away, you cannot, unless it's verified more than one time from somebody, you cannot speak for these people. And these people can't speak for themselves. I mean, that's fact. Well, they were doing it for the psychic lady. They were doing it for the psychic lady. So, but I mean, that's just the way it is. For sure.
I think it's very important for Ziggy's channel to be up. I think it's a damn shame that she felt she had to take it down. But, I may too, if I've got another.
I mean, yeah, I get it. If somebody's showing your stuff all the time and dogging on you for so many hours every day, yeah, it would get on my nerves. But I just wouldn't watch. I just wouldn't watch. Was she there when Ryan? Nana was there. Nana's been there every interview that Ryan's done. See, first, all the Dawn Welsh shit came out, right? The problems with Dawn. And then it went to Fred. So, And I think, like I said, I really truly believe that we're all intelligent enough to know that, with Fred, you just got to go with the flow with him, right? I think people know how he is. I've said this before too. I would be kind of embarrassed if law enforcement told anyone, why are they listening to Fred? I don't know. Weird, a psychic and Karen would find that tarp and she wasn't included in Ryan's interview with Karen. Why would she be? Why would the psychic lady be included? Why would she have to be included? She wasn't there. She wasn't there. Everything that the psychic lady had, Karen was sending her. The psychic lady never left her home. At all. So what was found was by Fred's family. I'll just say that, Fred's family.
Creator playing my life from beginning to end and not reviewing it, but harassing me and my family, my child the whole way through and making a paycheck on it. Yeah, I might take my channel down too for a little while.
Well, that's the thing with Ziggy. I don't know why people, because look, Ziggy called me a crazy name. I'm good with it, okay? And I've always liked Ziggy. I really have. I don't dislike her.
I always did have a soft spot for Ziggy. She just didn't like that I roasted her and stuff. I think that's what it was, right? No, she was not on site, Amy's. I don't think she... I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember. I don't know why she didn't go. I don't. I really don't. Tara was Blame Karen. To Karen was fake. Oh, I don't know. The thing about it was, I would have thought that, I mean, didn't law enforcement, Fred made the comment that law enforcement was tearing these walls down. Okay. Now we talked over here where people hide substances in their house. They'll take the little plug-in off and hide stuff in there and then put the cover back on. They will hide it in the weirdest of places. But people need to remember that property, 110 Ben Hill Road, was searched more than one time. More than two times. Don said they were searching so much he got tired of putting his tools back in his vehicle because they were tearing everything out. Now, is there proof from law enforcement that we searched that property 9 times? I don't think I've heard him say that. But anywho, why? Why? What were they looking for? What were they looking for? And people can say summer, okay? I get it, right? I get it. But they was looking for something.
But you guys know how I am.
Well, she's just she's crazy at times. She's
Yeah,
she's on the hook.
absolutely. But
That's when you turn
where-
her off, RC.
that they're calling out and given their whole family history or whatever they're doing, does that have anything to do with summer?
Right.
Does
right.
some of the people that he's calling out does it have anything to do with summer?
Right.
Or is Fred and the people that are getting a couple guys that got interviewed or whatever, that sounded more like a tit for tat between them and Fred. So
It did. Those interviews sounded like, let me get Fred back, damn it. Right? Fred said this about me. Let me make sure that I have a comeback for it, right? That had there, those interviews, yeah, that was more about going after Fred and Ziggy, in my opinion.
Well, you know what? I just realized I played something, but I'm not sharing my screen. That's why you didn't.
that's why you couldn't hear it, girl.
And, I want to do that because I don't
Okay,
want
I'm not sure what she's playing.
You kidding me?
Do you have like maybe little boxes or something that show you can put your screen stuff?
And I think I'm trying to read what Tiffany's
Okay.
saying about. I know she feels very strongly about Pruitt's phone call with Ziggy. If you look at that phone call, what started that phone call, TM, is Ziggy turned in a tip, and it was saying that she was just so sure of Dawn and Andy basically trading Summer for drugs. And then she put that description of the truck in there.
Yes.
And then
Yes, Ziggy did do that. And we can look at that again if you guys want to too. That was one of the things that she was saying, that Dawn and Andy, yes, absolutely, she was saying that.
he called her and left a voicemail, and she shared that. And Pruitt said, hey, I want to clarify something.
But if you look at the TBI tip that Ziggy sent, is when she states in there about Fred, also what I said earlier, being the mediator for Dawn with whoever, right? He didn't say who. He just said Dawn wanted him to be a mediator for him with some drug kingpin or whatever.
That you had said in that tip you sent in. And then they talk, and he makes this famous prior to. Andy was on the road prior to. I don't know how else to take that other than prior to Summer.
Prior to is a pretty, that's a pretty open-ended statement in my opinion.
Yeah.
Prior to.
You can
I
look at
believe that. I don't care what anybody says. I truly believe that prior to, I mean, I could go out and get my mail and come back and say, I got my mail prior to coming on my live, right? Doesn't mean anything. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe, I'm telling you, law enforcement knows more than what they're saying to us, right? Y'all think YouTubers can play games? I can guarantee you law enforcement can play some pretty big games themselves. For sure.
I don't know.
But also the conversation that was being had, to me, prior to what time they were calculating that Summer could have possibly went missing, right?
Right?
Because that's what they were talking about.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way I took that.
But about the
That is the
timeline,
way
he
I
knows
took
nothing.
it.
But yet he's making these videos and saying, "You must believe that Candace was at this gas station at 5:30."
You know, I won't put it out on YouTube if you don't want me to. And I'm like, why? I don't understand that, Kirst. Why in the world do these YouTubers call? And it's like the first thing they want them to know is that they're YouTubers. Hey, I got to tell
That is true. I still laugh at that. I could give you guys examples of creators that called law enforcement and made sure to say that they were YouTubers. I even seen one YouTuber call and tell them about her channel and recommended another channel to them also before getting to the point of what the call was about. It was crazy. It was crazy. I'm just saying it was.
tip about a little girl, but forget about that for a minute. Let me tell you about my YouTube channel,
Yeah.
right?
That's
I
so
don't think it was well
funny.
thought out. Yeah.
So sorry, that's what I seen.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of that actually over almost 5 years. So
I think
Yeah,
what's going on. Let's go to Jody. Jody made a couple of
she's
a couple
gonna
videos about me
go
lately,
Jody.
and that's why I made a video or the community post that I did. I think I'll cover Ryan in a different live because there's a lot about Ryan Finds Truth that I find to be reckless. He's put out a lot of
Oh, okay. So you're gonna start calling Ryan out? You're good at it, Cursed. You did. Look, you have put out a lot about Fred's contradictions and stuff. Yeah, I would definitely watch. I would watch. That guy's kind of strange, in my opinion. I mean, really just kind of odd. But I don't have to live with him, so.
misinformation. I've noticed when he has people on his panel chatting back and forth or in his comments, he doesn't know shit about the timeline. He knows nothing, but yet he's making these videos and saying, "You must believe that Candace was at this gas station at 5:30."
See, and nobody can prove she was there at 5:30. The only thing that, from what I remember, the clerk said that she was there through rush hour, right? She was there throughout a time when they were busy. So I don't know where 5:30 came in at. If you go back and you look at the timeline, there's always anywhere from half hour, even an hour difference in some of the timeline times, right? Okay, give me 1 second, y'all. Alrighty, I am back. Well, you have to look at the timeline starting at if the boys said they seen Summer, right? Then we know that they made it home. Possibly. Rush hour would be, yeah, in the morning or lunchtime or when people get off of work. Right? It depends on who's going to work. Amy's. Some people don't have to wake up in the holler. They've been waking bacon for 3 or 4 days straight. They ain't waking up. No, when they ain't sleeping for days. For sure. For sure, for sure. So no, we don't know if Candace was at the gas station at 5:30 on the dot. The only way that we would know that was factual is if we knew exactly on the video that law enforcement has exactly what time it was. But you want to guesstimate at 5:30? You can guesstimate at 5:30. I'm not going to put it out as the actual time, but you can look at 5:30 and then there's weird shit at 5:30, right? You know, we got all that stuff supposedly going on at 4:30. Candace on the hill looking for Summer. She didn't hear the scream. She was looking for Summer. Jody heard the scream, 4:30, 4:42, if I remember correctly. Then you had Candace saying she seen Jody, and then 4:30 was the time, initial time, that Candace had went to Fred's and seen Chad setting up Fred's, which I'm sorry is weird to me. If you know someone's not home, why is your ass sitting there on their property hanging out? Okay? You guys get what I'm saying? All of this supposedly 4:30. Well, then you got Candace at the gas station at 5:30 and Andy's at Zoomies and, you know, Fred's at Zoomies because he sees Andy at 5:30 at Zoomies. And Dawn believes that Candace, the initial call came into him at 5:30. Did I remember all that correctly? I could be missing something. I would have to pull up a map. I know that Fred made comments like seeing Jody's son in a little swimming pool with Summer, and the only way he could have seen her was if he was on top of the hill. That's it.
Based on, I believe this little old lady is truthful, or whoever else's information he's going on. I can't understand how you don't know the basics of. He thought that Dawn possibly could have met up with Candace at this gas station at 5:30. Didn't even know that Dawn had made the phone call from, what was it, Johnsville? where's he working at the time? Jonesboro. Yeah. Now, whether that's been proven,
I don't think that has been proven. And I know, Army, that I don't need for you to get into the metadata stuff, okay? I appreciate what you let us know. The father called in the dispatch call. Okay. In the dispatch call, you will hear the dispatcher say, the father called. You will hear her say that. What's up, Discovering? I believe seeing the picture because I seen the picture in the beginning, but it just, what picture are you talking about? Picture of, you have to elaborate, Discovering. I'm kind of lost, darling. Oh, thank you, Wee. Yeah, there's a lot of people's got some really good good content of the area and different things like that. Oh, the picture of Damon in the pool. Okay. Well, they must not have been too concerned about it if they took a picture of him in the pool. Kind of weird, though. But then again, supposedly that wasn't Damien. I would have to see it again. I would have to see it again. I don't know either.
Tiffany, I see what you're saying, but what time would you have thought that was when he was back in the holler?
Can you read her comment, what she said?
Okay, hold on, I have to find it. It had something to do with what. Oh, she said, I'd imagine if he meant when Andy went to work that morning, he would have said, well, he was on the road, he lives there, and had to go to work. Makes no sense for the detective to say he was there prior. That's not the comment that I'm talking about. She had one in there earlier.
Yeah, I agreed with Tiffany there. Absolutely. The verbiage that Pruitt used.
Nothing to do with Andy being in the back of the holler prior. Yeah.
Oh, it's here. All perception, of course, but it's just the way I took it. I feel Pruitt really did confirm Andy's presence in the back of the holler that day. Really?
But I'm sorry, I interrupted you. But what time? So, okay, wait a minute. You meant Andy went to work that morning. He would have said, okay, that's the one I just read. Okay, so do you, if that's a possibility, what time frame would you put that at, Tiffany? What time frame?
If Pruitt was saying that prior to, are you saying that?
Yeah, prior to, if he was saying prior to Summer getting gone, then we don't know what time Summer got gone, right? Oh. Well, I'm sure that Jody's son did things with the boys or had went over there, right? Before Chris interviewed Hunter. But when that picture was put out, what were they trying to insinuate, right? What were they trying to insinuate?
Pruitt was trying to say he was in there prior to the truck being in there, which, you know.
No, because he didn't know about the truck until Tiffany told him. Oh, not Tiffany. I'm sorry, Tiffany. When Ziggy told him. Nobody knew about that vehicle until, as far as I remember, until Ziggy wrote the tip in and mentioned this truck.
Speaking of vehicles on Ben Hill that day, another fun fact that I have seen wrote in chat. Again, a lot of people are looking at the chat, the comments, reading what these people are saying, especially Fred's sister, Ellie. You know, you've got to know, Ellie, you are now a character in the story.
They all are.
But now people are looking at what you're saying about Fred in your life. And, you know, you've been spotlighted again on Ryan, your story. You felt like you need to share it. And so people are going to be hanging on what you say. Well, you came out a while back and said your sister, Fred's sister, was in a van that day, and they were at the end of Jody's driveway, and that she had got there around 3. And Fred's sister seen a blue blazer that apparently she thought was Dobbs, but the guy that she's seen wasn't Jackie Dobbs. He resembled Fred, but the guy wouldn't turn around. Now, this isn't Julie's words. These are Ellie's words. She
Right.
said that that's what she told her. And the crazy thing about that is this has been brought up again, that her fun fact is Fred now drives the blue van that Julie drove that day. And then Six kind of pushed it out there into the universe. You know, maybe we should let TBI know. Why? Why? It was Julie driving it. Is there something about that van that we should know about? Why is it a fun
Hey,
fact
I'm gonna
that
let
Fred
this
now has the
play
van
for a
that
second.
was seen?
I'll be right
Coming up.
back.
So Fred has said there were multiple blue vans.
Right.
And another name that was brought up was, I may say it wrong, it's either Lynn or Len Fields. I think his real name's James Fields. And Fred had mentioned that he was there that day, in the holler that day, purchasing drugs.
Right.
And he mentioned 2 different people that he was getting drugs from. I guess it's probably not important to say who. I've heard Fred say that Marvin Simpson was on camera that day. I've heard, now here's another one. Let's go back to Tiffany's last live. Fred said, I think she had just asked him how he found out Summer disappeared. And he said that a family up the road stopped him and was trying to warn him, you know, just in case he had drugs on him. And then once he got down so far by blockade, he ran into this guy.
Yeah, he wasn't that a relative of Andy's, he tried to say.
No,
Who
no.
was trying to say that, well, yeah, I mean, he said that I heard a couple different people's names that were supposed to be, you know, standing there or in that area before you go up into the holler, that stopped Fred and said something to him, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Let me play it.
Hello, excuse me. Did you
Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear it.
miss this? This is new. What? Listen.
Then the vehicle that was then started to deliver something on video came on the road and he actually pulled it aside and so instead of getting out there and myself, I backed up the road just a little bit so over to the side that little block out there and he me myself and I was looking my left around on the video and I pulled up the video. But then he also found stuff and I was sitting there trying to figure out where I need to pull in and whatever and the first thing that came up to me was
What now?
Okay, so that's what I caught him saying, that he was talking about some guy. It was just random. Have you ever heard that Fred had ran into some guy that was supposed to deliver drugs to him earlier in the day?
I heard the only thing I heard about the substances that day was he said that he was delivering some.
Right.
And he said that on Reverend Donna Serafina. So now he's saying that he had them coming to him to basically give him the stuff that he was going to hand out that day. Is that it?
He
Or was this a different time?
this was the 15th, he's saying. And when they went live this past time, Ziggy brought it up again. She brought up, hold on, I thought I made that public.
Sorry, guys. I was preheating the air fryer. I think whatever creator got attacked and took it down. There's so many that we don't see anymore that got attacked and took all their stuff down. A whole bunch. I'm just glad I got a few things from some of them, you know.
Hold on, we go my. Well, I can play unlisted stuff, right?
Yeah.
Just
So,
flow.
yeah, I mean, there's nothing. 2 different creators. Common sense is going to tell you if you push a narrative or you are showing paperwork to creators and things behind the scene, you will find somebody who is going to take that information.
They are going to take the information and they are going to put it out. That's creators creating. It's called YouTube, right? There's probably other haulers that are just as busy as Beach Creek was, for sure.
And bring it out on their channel.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just bottom line to it. Somebody's going to take it.
Yeah, and it should have never been out here. It's the way that it's being discussed right now is disgusting.
Yeah, I know. I accidentally showed. I did. It was an accident when I pulled up that paperwork for Candace to file the whatever
that
appeal
was an
or have the
accident.
information.
Jody had said, if Jody doesn't care, I clipped the 3 things that when she was talking about me, I'll enlist them. You know, she was kind of telling me to find my balls as well and expose all these people. I don't know anything. These people that, you know, she repeats over and over again in her lives, I'm not and have not been in contact with those people. That's not the kind of relationship that I had with them. I had spoke to Gavel Geeks a couple of times in a Discord, and we were just discussing pictures and giving opinions back and forth.
Right.
Other than that, I don't know anything about, you know, what she feels they did to her. And another thing that she had brought up, but she said it in a different way. She called it a pink pony or something. When I went to Tennessee, I posted a video of everything that I recorded, Warriors Pond, Ben Hill, and then I
Right.
posted a picture of the mouse's ear. And she took that as I was somehow putting that on her in a bad way because I had heard that she worked there, but that's not why I posted it, Jody. It had nothing to do with you. I'm sorry that you feel that way. I've never put Jody down. I've never.
Well, Jody, the things that's happened with Jody, she definitely side eyes everybody. Not too many people have put out things about Jody that, have been kind to her. For real. Let me tell you guys something. There are so many of them that this is just my opinion. They sexualize a lot. Here, I gotta go check my air fryer. Let me turn this back on for you.
Never said a negative thing about Jody. That's not what I'm here for. I believe what she says, what she's seen and heard. I believe her truths. Now going forward after that, and the things that she said, I don't agree with everything. And I know that's why a lot of people hate on her, is the whole Andy thing. When it comes to her and Andy and the things that were said, I think that's where a lot of people disagree. There's channels that are constantly every day making channels, or not channels, but videos on Jody. Like Dee Presents every day. And the shit that she's putting out's not true, but she's making a living off of it. She's profiting off of misinformation. She sure is.
Let me read Tiffany's.
Sure. Let me finish that off by, JSP said that I had put out the Tim Mullins paperwork because I knew that the CPS work was coming out. No, I did not. I posted that because I was in Brooke's chat previously to that, and it was being spoke about. It may have been the live that Nana was on. Nana had a live with her. And
yeah, I want to get into that a little bit too, the Nana stuff, because I think a lot of people are maybe confused on some stuff. But Tiffany said she used to do, wait a minute, I lost it. Tiffany, I keep losing your stuff. Okay, so, no, that's not it. Lord have mercy. Okay, so Tiffany said something about individuals who have come into Summer's case 2 or 3 years after she went missing, and why some of them are trying to run narratives and stuff like that.
So that's the thing. There are people in the mix who entered the scene 2 to 3 years into Summer's case who are running a lot of narratives. My question is, why? What is the end goal?
I don't.
Why are they doing it?
Okay, I really don't know the answer to that, but what I kind of done has went back and seen some of the reasons why some of the people got, super involved and push narratives at the very beginning, and some of the reasons some of them did it are the same reasons they're doing it now. And I'm talking about like maybe somebody who's doing it for money. We know that stuff happened at the very beginning. It was crazy. That stuff was crazy. So this is just me. I kind of was looking at, okay, what were these people doing right after she went missing? What was the purpose of it? And you can kind of bring that into right now and why they're doing some of the things they're doing.
Yeah, I think some people are afraid to say, you know what, hey guys, I was wrong. I put something out and I was wrong on that. So let's talk about it again, because I don't hear that very often at all.
Well, I think we all get feisty with each other. I get it. I mean, I really like Tiffany. I really do.
I mean, Jody went on the
I don't have
news
anything
and
against Jody.
stuff.
And
I think Jody has a hard time trusting that anyone has good intentions, really.
and we can see why, though. Can you see why?
But
Oh, absolutely, I can.
I
Yeah.
agree
I mean,
with that
that
too.
stuff was craziness at the beginning of Summer's
For
case and
sure.
what was
I
going on
think
with
it was
Jody.
a lot.
For sure. And I know that there were people that did things out of the kindness of their heart with no intention of any kind, as in trying to help or whatever
Going
the
back
situation
and forth
was.
to court.
And I get that. But yeah, this also,
Andy's saying
Jody
weird
and
shit
Andy both have come out and said publicly
but
that they don't believe that either one had anything to do with what happened to Summer.
little girl on
Right?
the live
Now, let me
and
ask you this.
mentions it to
Did
his
Karen say something like that
daughter
about Fred in that interview that she did with Ryan?
Can you be more specific? What are you
That
asking
was
me?
all weird
Did,
shit.
because I thought I heard it. This is a Remain Calm Thunk. She heard it. Karen stating something that, even though Fred's this really messed up dude, that she doesn't think he could have had anything to do with something bad happening to someone.
And I think I was wrong about that because I think I got corrected in chat because I thought that Karen said that she didn't think Fred would have done anything, but and I can't remember who corrected me, but thank you very much, said that she, I guess, said the latter. So and the possibility that someone that was doing some substances that day, something happened, and I mean, that's a possibility. I'll have to find a video of someone doing math and freaking out and doing weird shit and saying weird shit and not sleeping for 3 or 4 days. They got a freaking stink to them. They got a stink to them.
I don't know if she said it in this last interview because I've not watched the whole thing yet. I know she has said it. There's a big history with this Nana, and I don't agree with a lot of it. I don't agree with what you guys are doing in Tennessee right now. You need to leave certain people alone. Certain people don't want to talk to you. They've made that very
And you know what? Those people need to tell them they don't want to talk to them. And if anyone feels harassed in any way, take it to law enforcement. Call law enforcement. They don't, I mean, if people do not want to talk to any of those people, they have a right not to talk to them. For sure. Nobody should be harassing anybody to get an interview. Only to bash Fred Hill. I'm sorry. That's the way I feel about it.
very clear. But I guess
Well, they have to make it clear to them. I mean, pretty much for real, because you can say
Yeah,
that, but
that's
until they
what I
say it
said.
themselves to them, they're they're not going to pay any attention.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, girl.
I know. And
I
know.
mean,
I know.
and I hate that people are being bothered that don't need to be bothered.
Yeah. Well, it's like Sandy Grant said, it's for the money. It's for the content.
Yeah, a lot of it's always has been. Yeah.
You can say it's for Summer all damn day, but it's not. Okay. Brian finds truth, hashtag Summer Wells in 99% of your videos. Why? They're not all about Summer. You're not looking for Summer, and don't use the excuse. This is my opinion. Don't use the excuse. Well,
I got news for everybody. Very rarely do I put Summer in my titles at all. Seriously. A lot of times I don't even start out talking about Summer, and something to do with another case or something it leads you right into talking about things that's transpired in her case. Another case that I thought was just horrible also was Sebastian Rogers, and he still hasn't been found either. And then we've got that crazy Stacy Wondra and his wife and two other, I'll say suspects because I believe they're suspects. And Michael still hasn't been found. Well, I don't know. I really, in the beginning, don't know why Jody came to YouTube, but she had just as much of a right as anybody else. For sure. If all the rest of them were doing, why couldn't she do it? And at first, she wasn't even saying anything about Dawn and Candace. Until Candace, something happened, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. Oh, wanting Jody to change the story about Dawn showering with Summer. Dawn admitted showering with Summer, but then he kind of added that, yeah, when she was younger, right? Okay, let me go flip these chicken strips. Hold on.
I keep everything private, what I do. Well, you don't keep the videos of you looking for caves in Laurel Run. So what's wrong with showing your drone footage of above this Exxon gas station or Lake Hollow Road, wherever you're at? What's wrong with showing that if it's for Summer?
Right.
I mean, come on.
Can I talk to Scott here for a second?
Absolutely.
Scott put, he's talking to TM. I got behind in chat, but on your live, where did it all collide with Jody C? You had her pinned down like a champion wrestler on the timeline, her timeline, regarding what C said about 4:30. Scott, tell me if I'm wrong, because didn't Candace try to say she's seen Jody at 4:30, but then Candace also said that she was looking for Summer at 4:30, between 4:30 and 4:42, because that's when Jody said she heard the scream, right? So we had those two things happening, and when it first came out that Candace went to Fred's, wasn't that 4:30 also? Is that what you're talking about, the 4:30?
That's Laura had said 4:30 originally. Yeah. Fred, I don't know if he ever said 4:30 in the beginning or not. I've caught a lot of times come out of his mouth, and that's a problem for me.
Well, I know with Ryan, I really don't.
Okay, hello. Well, I mean, the only thing, I don't know. I do agree that, if information is not factual, then I've always been, this is my opinion. If it's hearsay, I'll say hearsay. If it's a theory, I'll say a theory. Speculation. But some don't do that. And, some of these creators, they all, talk to Dawn Wells and different things like that. So people tend to believe what they say because they are known to have access to Dawn and Candace at different times. So you do want to believe what they say.
After the crap barrel incident that they thought was so funny, I never really watched him after that. Missing anywhere from, really, if you want to look at it, after she dropped Hunter off, right?
Hold on a second here.
Yes, because if they're not going by the milk jug video, I mean, and like I said, the only reason I believe she was there because of what Lawson said the boy said. But Lawson didn't give a time. And if Candace was at the gas station, whatever time she might have been there, when she came back, Summer wasn't there. Right? Yeah, I'm like that too, discovering. I want to see stuff for myself. I really do. I have to see things with my own two eyes. I do.
If you catch anything nice, don't say anything at all.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get to it. For Summer. And then things kind of start clicking for her in her head. Like, car door, scream. Candace is calling for Summer. Yeah, something's wrong here.
Yeah,
So
and the time was, she even put a time to her being messing around the creek, and she hears Candace coming down and hears Candace talking to Dawn. And that's when she says, she just goes, I'm sorry, right? Something
So she was looking in the creek. She hears Candace screaming for Summer. She knows it's not a regular scream for Summer scream. And then she's coming down to mess with Flowers to wait for Andy. And that's when I think she hears Candace screaming then. And she goes and starts walking through the creek. Then around 6:09-ish, Candace comes down the driveway and Jody's there and here's Dawn speaking to Candace. That's how I believe that went. But yet, the dispatch call stated that they had been looking for her for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Right? First 911 call came in at 6:23, right? Something like that. She wasn't looking in the creek. In her words, I was washing off scent. Yes, that is what she said, discovering. Because she had her own dog scent on her. Well, I mean, that makes sense, right? Well, I don't know. She said she was walking down there to mess with her flowers. All right, let me turn this back on. Without being sorry.
I think that she had started looking in the creek and then heard Candace coming down the driveway with, she thought that someone was in the truck with Candace, but here it was Dawn on speakerphone.
Right.
Dawn talking about, so you're saying someone took my baby girl.
Yep.
And then Candace apparently comes down the rest of the driveway. So Jody gets out of the creek, and I'm going to assume by what I've heard, she goes up to the truck and talks to Candace. Yeah. And that's when she tells her, I'm sorry, I didn't know Summer was missing. And I think she's implying, I'm sorry because I heard all this shit go on earlier in the day and I didn't think to say nothing to you about it. It didn't click for me that Summer was missing.
That's what didn't click, because she hears this unnatural scream and doesn't think to call Candace and say, "Do you hear that scream?" And no, maybe she didn't talk to Candace like that, right? But
Right. Well, like her
yeah,
son describes it as an animalistic scream, so maybe they just weren't thinking that it was a child. Or even her daughter, did she not say that she then further heard after the scream that it was muffled?
I don't know. Where I heard anyone talk about possibly it being Summer and, they put a hand over her mouth and, muffled her scream or whatever was Don Wells.
No,
He talked about that.
We got a lot of what he said too, RC, from Jody. Jody said it first.
Thank you. I've said that for years now. Jody even said some of the information that Don Wells had, he got it from her. And I think I'm correct. If I'm wrong, I'll apologize for it. But if I remember correctly, the dog trail information came from Jody to Don.
Right. That's how I understand it.
Okay,
And then Lawson comes
whippersnappers.
up.
Maybe it just had to do with her dog. Maybe, she had said at one time that she kind of researched what to do when a child went missing. Wasn't she kind of involved before an incident where a child went missing and she was helping look for him? I thought that's what, I could be wrong, but I thought that's what she said.
Out and says
Yes, Twister, I can see you.
Where the scent ended.
Well, see, that's a little off to me too. All of it that law enforcement's put out has been really strange to me. Even saying that the scream is unfounded. If you look at the meaning of what unfounded is, that's not telling the public it didn't happen. They're saying we couldn't prove the allegation.
Yeah, they couldn't prove it. Yeah.
And that goes with this recent conversation that was recorded by Nana and Ellie, or Nana, whoever did it, recording him talking about Fred wearing a wire. Do you not think that law enforcement isn't going to tell you or anybody what's really going on in the investigation? Even if you don't believe Fred was wired, it doesn't make a lick of sense to believe, to me, because
Well, I have to agree with Curse there too. Law enforcement is not going to tell you guys that they had somebody undercover for them. They're undercover for a reason. Undercover means they're not going to tell you that they have these people. They're not going to tell you they have snitches, right? That would mean she went back up the hill to get her dog. She didn't have the dog to go wait for Andy. Okay.
Lawson said, no, that didn't happen. It didn't happen at all. He's not going to tell you if it did. He's not going to tell you that he had the narcotic unit in there recording and, having Fred sneak around and try to get information. They're not going to tell you that. And that's what really upset me about Six Up presenting this as, turn your volume way the fuck up, share it out, tell everybody Fred's a liar. That was all about making Ziggy and Fred look bad. It wasn't about the information. It wasn't. So
Okay, I get it.
Well, and people need to realize too,
I get it. I get what you're saying. That is very frustrating when that happens. It is kind of frustrating. I completely get that. And we have seen people just trying to annihilate Fred and Ziggy right now, right? So, yeah, none of it makes any sense. None of it.
If you have any relevant information and you get a hold of Hawkins County TBI, FBI, whoever you feel you need to get a hold of, what you have to remember is you may not get a reply from them. They may not contact you again. It depends on the information that you're providing.
Yeah.
They don't have to contact you back.
No,
And
most likely they're not going to.
well, I've seen a lot of creators
Unless they
on
have
YouTube saying
questions.
that, unless they had questions about what you sent them or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
There was a sub that got a hold of me, and they had told me the things that they reported to TBI. And the lady that was taking the information, now I don't know how their system works, but this is what was said. She had turned in a tip, about Fred changing his timeline a little bit, and the lady said, "Oh, we don't have that in here." I thought that was kind of strange for them to say that. We don't have that information here, to relay that to someone.
Well, maybe she didn't have the complete file in front of her either.
All right.
Maybe she was just like, yeah, we ain't got that. Go ahead and tell me about it, right?
Yeah.
Let's see if what I have is what you're going to tell me.
Yeah. I'd like to know, I say it all the time, I bring up the footprints. I sure would like to know the truth about the footprints, because I think that tells a lot right there, if they're true.
That's the thing. If they're not true, people are going to go back to the person who put it out first, right? And that was the guy on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. I found a clip on him. His name was Josh Phillip.
And I could say something else, but I won't.
And I caught a clip of Jose talking about him. He was talking about Summer had wandered off before, and she had wandered down to his property, actually. And Jose said that he was a method.
Right.
And, that's whether you believe Jose's information. And then I was in another certain person's chat, and I had said, I don't believe in the footprints, because everything I've heard, they say it's either rumor or it's hearsay. There's never been anything straight put out that said.
Okay, so this is the way I look at that. This is the way I see that. I look at does the footprints add value to what could have happened? I try to look at it in that sense. And then I look at it as in those footprints don't mean anything. So I just look at it both ways. But I do get people who, they do put out a narrative or something. And if they want to do that, I completely get where it's frustrating, because it does get frustrating. It really does. But each creator has a specific group of people. If those people agree with them and their narrative, you're not, some people just are going to stay on that path, right? Because they have their crew, right? Well, it's just weird to me who would drop off a freaking backpack in Fred's driveway 5 days after Summer goes missing, right? Didn't he say like 5 days after Summer went missing? And then I think they tried to put that on Andy. That had something to do with Andy or something, right? But don't forget, someone took a pipe and put it at the end of Jody's driveway. I don't know if it was busted or just left there, but Jody was not happy about it. Whoever did that. I mean, you got people leaving pipes at the end of the driveway, math making material in people's driveways. What else? Oh, dildos in the yardo. Don't forget the dildos in the yardo. Seriously. Right? Ernie Shell delivering pizza to Candace and craziness. Craziness, I must say. Those were wild times, people. We've seen a couple pizza instances with some of these people on YouTube. Right? Lisa Kleckner. Where have you been, Lisa Kleckner? You don't have to tell me, honey. I'm just messing with you. I see y'all around. I see you around, people. I do. Y'all think you're slick sometime. No, I'm just playing. I'm just messing.
This happened. And actually, Lisa Kay emailed EcoSearch and asked them if they found her scent. And they said, no, we did not. But if you want to get a hold of whoever else was searching, or maybe it was law enforcement, get a hold of someone else and ask them what they found. But no, we didn't. Don't you think that Dave Radar would have known the truth?
Let's ask this question. If they never got a scent to search for Summer, it was just like a dry run. Oh, yeah, because they didn't have no dogs with them, did they, when they went to the swim hole? Don't forget, EquiSearch went also to the swim hole, right? Maybe you're following me around. Hey, I'm always in the bushes. I have 5-star amenities in my bushes. Yeah. Got the good wine, good candy. Oh my gosh. So I think it was when Ryan's calling Kirst a thief for stealing evidence. But I don't know what Nana put in chat, but somebody said something about smoking marijuana, right? And I'm like, come on. For real? You're going to make a big deal out of somebody smoking a little marijuana? I don't think y'all want to do that. For sure. That's not nice. You wouldn't want people to talk about what they've heard about you. I'm just saying. If we go by all the info law enforcement put out, one person stands out above all the others that law enforcement has put out. I haven't heard law enforcement come out and speak about one person. I mean, my top go-to guy, I don't know. I have to put Don Wells up there. For some reason, I just think he's in the mix of something. I don't know what, right? Well, I would rather have a little piece of candy that helps relax me, right? Than to drink a shitload of alcohol and don't remember a phone call from the night before and having to call back the next day to ask what was being talked about because you were having a little party. Right? Well, everyone's a person of interest. Everyone's a person of interest. But that's how I'm just using that as an example. That's how they do, right? Hello. Right? That's just how it is. That's just how it is. For sure. I do too, runs with scissors. It helps me stay chilled. Just helps me relax. Sometimes I just need to relax. Oh, I'm going to check in with Jack and Lily that case also. AB's been covering that off and on.
About that, not just a rumor.
I think that, EquiSearch, and they talked a lot about the area and the paraphernalia that was found, and some areas being so bad that even the team got sick. Also here recently.
Those were areas that surrounded Summer. I know it is a beautiful, beautiful place. But when you get into the heart of it, there's boarded up houses everywhere. A lot of areas that people probably hadn't even stepped foot on in a long time, right? And Twyla did say they got sick. There was paraphernalia. I mean, whoever was searching with Karen and them found all of those, all that lingerie, remember? Because they kind of felt a certain way. They contacted law enforcement about this bag of lingerie, and law enforcement kind of laughed at them, if I remember correctly. And that kind of hurt their feelers a little bit, right? But guess what happens also? Them manufacturers will manufacture out in the middle of nowhere. And, they making their dollar. They making their dollar. Don't think there ain't women who going to sit around in that lingerie and maybe do a little this or that to get them a fix of dope, right? Why not be a manufacturer and a pimp, right? Double your money. Be an entrepreneurial. If I even said that right. For sure. Well, I thought he was coming to get lunch. Let me message him real quick. Hey. Okay. Alrighty. Simply, it's probably been out for a while. Individuals who cruise around the area showing a lot of so-called trap houses and different things like that are setting everywhere all through the holler, basically.
Mhm.
That was the atmosphere that these kids were living in. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's I mean, to hear different things. I don't believe everything I hear that happened on the hill either.
But that happens in towns too, for sure. There are places that you could drive through, probably in your area, and you're going to see houses boarded up and stuff. It's everywhere.
I refuse to. I don't.
Well, and I'm not going to sit here and say that everybody in that holler is an addict or anything like that. I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of good people that
Insulin's not affordable anymore. They switched that for him. Hell, gas is $5 a gallon up here right now.
Okay. Makes a comment that they got into the water to wipe off a scent so the dogs don't get confused.
Okay.
But anyway, at the Christmas event this past year, Nana decides to hit
Christmas
record
stuff.
on her phone, and then Don Wells walks up and starts talking to her. I've clipped it. I have to edit it before I play it because
This is the thing about that stuff, and we'll find it if you guys want to listen to it. I didn't know about it. I got a phone call about it and was told about it. I've talked about that situation.
Ryan will strike me. He's a striker. He doesn't like me for some reason, and I think it's because we can get back to Nana here in a second. Let me.
Well, damn it! Why'd you steal that evidence first?
I took it.
So, okay. Over the years, things that have happened, of course, we're going to ask questions. Of course, we're going to start, people are going to be like, okay, well, who's Nana for life, right?
Right.
There was the video
That's
put
what's
out,
happening.
Candace saying that, her family's property was a good place that she loved to go fishing or whatever, right?
I already explained all that.
That sentence with, huh?
Yeah.
So,
All of a sudden, out of the blue, this is what she told me. Dawn Wells shows up at her house
yes,
to show her.
I
for
talked
whatever
about
reason.
that.
But it doesn't mean that Candace or Dawn is guilty for meeting up at this gas station and transferring her or
Yeah, that's true. Just because Candace was at the gas station don't mean her and Dawn met up at 5:30 and you know, Candace handed Summer off. Could that have happened? Maybe. Right? Yeah, a lot of creators got calls. You better believe it. It wasn't just a couple of us. For sure. For sure, for sure. But not to dog on Jinkies and her Christmas tree thing, but I just wasn't gonna follow it this year. Hang on, guys. Okay. Ugh. Yeah, we're not for real. Hang on. Okay. Put my car in the shop. Freaking hassle. It is a hassle. Okay, so yeah, definitely wasn't even gonna do any of that. And then I got the phone call about what Dawn did. I don't know why. All right, be careful. Yes, it was messed up that Dawn tore these flyers down or whatever, and he admitted it. That's messed up. That is messed up. The whole situation was messed up. There was always something happening at those events. I mean, Rap got thrown in jail. Rap and Chill Billy both got thrown in jail. Chill Billy, I think, got out. Rap, he had an extended stay for other reasons. And so that happened. I think that was at the Purple Tent. I know one year that I was just kind of didn't feel right because Candace was opening presents while she was there, right? So that I kind of, you know, wasn't into for sure. What's up, Tennessee Twister? Phone calls and creators make Dawn look worse. Well, Don's already made himself look bad. For sure. For sure, for sure. But let me say this too. If Don showed up at somebody's house with freaking paperwork that made him or Candace look bad, that's on him. That's on him. Nope, he don't need no help. Candace don't need no help either. For sure. For sure, for sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah, when Daisy and Jinkies got into it. There you go, Zena. You go, girl. Oh, that's discovering. Discovering. Okay, we're almost done. I am almost done here, ladies and gentlemen.
But these people that YouTubers were talking to and different stuff like that, they had been watching YouTube. A lot of those people they talked to, them people were watching YouTube.
Yeah, we talked
Even
about
if you go
that.
back to Brandon Clark and JLR.
Wait, what was that comment? I just seen a comment. I want to see it. Oh, keeping talking about keeping you know, that's the thing about people stating things like, you know, Nana seems like a hateful person. I just, something changed. Something changed. I don't know what happened, what it was. But yeah, something really, really changed with Nana.
Now, let me ask you this: how many people that came out in the beginning and was either a Don Wells fan, didn't like Candace, a Candace fan, didn't like Don, or they were all over both Candace and Don? How many of those people have now turned? They you know, decided they were going to flip that switch. And
yes, many of them. Okay, the first vigil wasn't bad. Okay. I don't think really any of the vigils were bad, were they? The purple tent wasn't a vigil. The Christmas tree wasn't a vigil. Most of the vigils they had at the parks and stuff, right? Remember when Betty went? She had a cake and everything. I think her and Dolly met. That's when her and Dolly met. Was at one of Summer's vigils, I think. And there was balloons and she got a sheet cake and she did it up right. She did it up right. Then you had Timmy Etherton. Boy, he could say some prayers, Father God. Father God. Then you had the lady. Which vigil was it that the woman was, I'm sorry that I listened to social media and I didn't connect with you. I'm sorry. Oh, Candace got a phone call like that at the motel. The motel her and Donnie was staying at. I'm so sorry, Candace. I'm sorry I listened to those vile, evil demons on YouTube, on social media. I'm sorry. That was Robin Lane. After Dawn and Candace could not remember Summer's birthday, and Dawn said he didn't give a fuck about birthdays, they had Donnie a nice little setup waiting on him when he got home on his birthday. Little old signs. You're a great daddy. We love you, Donnie. Balloons. Yeah. I didn't forget that. For sure. Didn't forget it.
And now it's, you know, it isn't pro Don Candace or Don and Candace anymore.
No. Do you have a study theory? A theory? You don't have to share it. That's not what I'm asking. But do you have a theory in your head of what you think happened that day?
A little bit. I do believe that when Candace
Same thing
so-called
I'd say.
told the boys to keep an eye on Summer, it wasn't because she was putting a knee brace on. I do believe she was doing something, and whether that be leave the hill or what, that is one thing that keeps sticking in my mind right there.
Yeah.
And it always has since the beginning. That has always stuck out to me. Some people think she may have accidentally left Summer in the car. I don't think that happened because they had to take the milk in. So she would have had to get her up to get the milk, right? I don't think you're going to leave milk in the car for an hour. Right? Had dark curly hair put on top of her head. Oh, you talking about the I'm sorry. This was at a prayer vigil. It wasn't Robin. Well, there were all kinds of different prayer vigils because they had them in different places, right? They were kind of doing them. The lady with the cake. Okay, maybe I thought Betty bought the cake. I know that Betty had a cake. I don't know who bought it. I thought it was Betty. I apologize if I'm mistaken.
Could Candace have left? And, you know, then something happens to Summer? Could someone have known that day that just because the truck, if this person knew them and knew Dawn, right, then you would have to think that Dawn's truck setting at 110 would have possibly made a difference.
Does that make sense when I say that? I've said that previously also. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, Twister. What, okay. What does that, why are you telling me that? Are you just specifically saying where people were? I'm not comprehending that. I'm not comprehending what you're trying to tell me. Oh, the cray cray lady was at the Borden Park vigil. Well, I don't know. I know Candace was there. Right? Kind of crazy. Crazy.
Hey, that comment is the very
all
first
right, we're
comment that I
almost
said in
done.
Jody's chat, and I got blocked.
You got blocked?
Yeah, that was my first time getting blocked in Jody's chat because I brought that point up. You know, if it was someone from the area that knew Dawn and they seen that Dawn's truck was home, then I can't foresee someone taking that risk.
That's
Right.
what I said.
To be
Even
honest.
going in the back door.
Yeah,
Right.
She
Yeah.
was really dumb.
I absolutely say that. I do. And okay, got a couple minutes. Touch base on anything? My thing is just stay true to yourself, girl. Put out what you need to put out. There's a lot of people that like what you put out. But years back, there was an instance where two creators were speaking to each other, you know, talking about the case, you know, and other things. And so a creator put out this video. The other creator, I can't remember if they did a live or put out a video and kind of spoke on the same thing. And this creator told the other creator to take down their content. And she took down her content. And that really irked the shit out of me. It really did. I don't think it's right. I mean, even if you put out the same stuff, you're not both going to take it the exact same way. I mean, yeah, you do sometimes. You know what I'm saying. Well, they did. They got quite a bit of money. And like I said, I understand that, many people are good hearted and they really do like to help. But if someone had paid for a child, people sending thousands of dollars, you're not going to be able to really pinpoint down if they got paid by someone they could have sold her to. I'm not saying that's what happened, but I hope you understand. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. And people do get frustrated with different things that are being put out, different things that are said. Like I said, I think there's a lot of extra stuff going on. And that's totally up to them people. They have to live with themselves. They really do. If they think that they're doing the right thing, then that's on them. That is on them. No, I don't think she was sold either. I don't. I mean, I don't. But we don't know. Let's put it like this. Okay? We can't sit and say that Dawn and Candace sold her, but could the possibility be there that someone came in contact with her and that they didn't sell her? Does that make sense? And I hate to say that. I really do. But that possibility's there. That possibility's there. You can't take it out of the equation. You just can't. You can't. All right. Anything else? I'm getting my ass off here. I am getting my ass off here. Kirsta's link is in my description. You guys go show her some love. Show love to whoever you think you need to show some love to. Sometimes people need a hug and you don't even know it, right? I hope so. I hope so. I hope we find her. You know what scares me about that, Poppy? About her being given away, maybe adopted out? Is that she was just given to someone that wasn't vetted, right? They didn't vet these people out. That's scary to me. And I mean, accident, yeah. It could have been an accident. We just don't know. We don't know, y'all. But yes, I kind of, I'm the try to see everything from all different angles. For real. But there's some pretty smart cookies out there. And I'm kind of weird because I love hearing the history of different places like that. So if someone from the area spoke on the area, what it was like, different things like that, I was always interested in that. Well, yeah, church people. Church people. Well, you have to realize too that, and I hate to say this, if summer wandered off and got lost in the woods, yeah, after 5 years, could she have kind of wandered off and someone picked her up? Absolutely. They're saying that her scent ended, right there on the road. I have that wrote down. I'm going to pull up Leslie Earhart's, all of the interviews that she did, and we'll watch them next time, okay? I mean, if you guys are interested in that. Some people do think that, Zena. They do. Some people think that she went down looking for Candace. For sure. I knew who you were talking about. I knew who you were talking about. I just, so much of it just doesn't make sense to me. But things fall into place. Some things just poof, fall right into place, and you're like, oh, okay, now I get it. Now I get it. But, if Kirst wants to show Ryan's contradictions, I don't find anything wrong with that. There are people that are very good at showing those different things. There's people who are really good at showing tragedy pimps, really good at it. Everybody has something to offer. But this, that's extra. That Ryan Nana stuff to me is extra. And I haven't quite put my finger on why. Why is that happening? Distractions aplenty. You just have to figure out why. Oh, I don't know about that runs with scissors. I think a lot of people probably do. My thing is, I just remember things. A lot of what I remember is, the very beginning, a lot of things that happened in the beginning. I've always tried to keep up with different things, and some things I just haven't. Well, from my information, Kirst, they were all down at the end of the driveway the night before. When they all hanging out, the cops were down there for for what's his name? Who had Elvis? Jackie Dobbs. From my understanding, they all was kind of hanging out, checking out what was going on. That's my understanding. So I don't know, girl. I don't know, girl. But you do you, Cursed. For sure. Don't, you know, you just gotta sometimes let them say whatever shit they're gonna say and just don't even, you know, because a lot of times they do that. So you will say something back and then they'll just keep using it as content, right? That's when they had the BB guns, I believe, Zena. I don't know, though. I mean, Shurfy Sr. said all the kids would hang out down on the road. But we'll get into that another time. All right, I'm getting my ass off here. Thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. I really appreciate you guys. I really do. Peace be with you. Oh, I love Molly. You have to love her, Sandy. That girl's got some kahunas, let me tell you. She is something else. For sure. Yeah, they were kind of clownish. They were, I'll give you that. All right, be you, do you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thanks for just hanging out and yakking with me, you guys. I appreciate it so much. For real. All right. I tell you to be good, but you're all grown-ass adults. You are grown-ass adults. That's what I'm saying. And if you're not, my description and my title says 18 plus. You're not allowed here. Now, Auntie Sherry just turned 21. Okay, she's a youngster. She's good, though. She can hang out. For sure. All right. You can email me if you like. If you don't like, don't. Feel free to leave me a comment. The only thing I ask is don't start an argument with me in my content, in my comments. If you want to argue with Remain Calm, you can come over here. I'll give you the link. You can come up here and say whatever your little heart needs to say. Okay? I'm not a comment war type of person. You're telling on Sandy, what are you doing to Poppy now? Well, Poppy, quit sitting in front of her, lady. Sit behind her. It's what you got to do. For sure. All right. Adore you guys. My opinion is not necessarily the opinion of others. I'm a commentator. Commentator. That's what I do over here. And I do feel for everybody. And I wish things weren't happening the way that they are. But I am not the YouTube police, my friends. No, that I do not have a Google certificate in. And I would not want that job anyway. I can tell you that right now. All right. Later, guys. Have a good one. Hey, don't forget, we're going to do the Saturday night. We're going to do the paranormal stuff. I promise I will schedule it way beforehand. And everybody can come over and hang out. We're just going to, hang out and talk paranormal stuff for a little while. Maybe do some reaction videos on some scary stuff. We're going to take a break. All right. Bye, guys.